What's up, guys? So, part 5 of my tier list. You might notice my tier list changed a little bit in the order of high tiers compared to what I posted on Twitter a few days ago. You know, as I think about these things more, and I think with the nuances, it's hard to like make something and be 100% like happy with it afterwards. But anyway, it's pretty close to what it was before. And this is the tier of characters that are all really good. You know, obviously some better than others, but all these characters have sauce. All these characters are very viable. And they all have really good success in tournaments overall. Even if it's only online, maybe because of some recent buffs, they've all shown to be good characters. And yeah, one thing I wanted to mention about Ultimate, I don't mention results much when it comes to like talking about characters. It's because I think with the amount of good characters in this game, and the amount of like really good players in comparison, you never have enough good players to really utilize all the characters in tournament settings and show off how good all of them can be. And I think because of all the good characters, once again, people kind of pick the character that they think is good enough that they want to play and win with. And not many people pick just strictly the best characters. So sometimes results can be a little bit iffy based on just representation, which is just kind of, you know, how much people like playing characters. Characters that get buffed, you know, might have less representation because people are figuring out the mains before the characters got buffed. There's a lot of attributes going into it. But basically, I think that ultimate results aren't the best indication of viability due to these factors. And there's going to be one exception I'll talk about a little bit later to that rule in this part of the video. Anyway, starting off, Chic. Chic is also, I'm going to keep this video quicker for all the character descriptions than previous ones because there's so many characters to talk about. Yeah, Chic. This character has everything you want in my opinion. Just frame data, speed, combos, kill confirms, great projectile, out of shield game, shield pressure. In fact, when she hits your shield, her shield pressure is so insane because it's so fast that like you might not react to her hitting your shield or whiffing something and she gets pressed on the button before you're ready. So she gets multiple chances to pressure you when she's in your face. But she's so fast she can get in your face so well too. And when you see like the high level Chics like Mr. R, Void, Sharp, like do her crazy combos, go for all execution stuff. She looks insane. She is a character with a very low skill floor, but a very high skill ceiling, and I think she might be a top tier if people master enough. To me, it's just a matter of how much of a 20xx character is she? How good can people get with her? How much can you push human execution and limit mistakes? Because all of her weaknesses are lack of range, which is compensated for by her speed and projectiles, her lightweight, which isn't really compensated by much, and that she stinks at like trading hits, which you know is a matter of making sure you clean hits and not trade. Otherwise, she is just overall ridiculous package that gets punished hard for mistakes, but I'm not sure how much that really matters, and I expect to see a lot of success from the current Chic players, like really good success when offline is back, because I think in theory she kind of just destroys most of the cast when played close to perfectly. Alright, Omar, you know, one of my mains. This character I always joke, you know, a mid-tier character, yeah. And this character feels mid-tier to be honest, because when things aren't going well for this character, they're going poorly. His disadvantage state's awful. He has trouble chasing people. So, like, people can just run away from him very easily when he's down. But this character, obviously, very oppressive neutral, hard to hit him. And the thing is, if you're not hitting him, you're losing the game. Because between getting PacMan that he wants, throwing them at you, and getting free chip damage, which builds up really fast, and generally having these big hitboxes that are likely just connecting you at some point, add that all to a character who does absurd damage and has access to early kill moves if he can land them. And you just have a character that is really good overall. Not a top tier or anything, but too many struggles, you know, with just bad disadvantage as mentioned before. But man, the fact that you have to be doing something, otherwise you are losing the game, is a hell of a good win condition to have. And when you combine that with tiny character, massive hitboxes, it's crazy. Next up, Mega Man. This is a character that's fallen out of favor a lot as Ultimate's gotten older, and I think two reasons. I think one is because of a lot of characters getting buffed, I think this is one of those characters that had a lot of matchups he just won for free, versus like many characters weren't good enough, because his neutral was kind of overwhelming. And while I think his neutral is still really good, I think a lot of characters getting better tools to combat a character like Mega Man's neutral hurts him a lot. And two, as Ultimate gets older and this game is more of like a mesh game, Mega Man is sometimes lacking frame data, and not the best on hit moves. Like pellets aren't always the best thing on hit. Some of his other buttons don't feel like great in hit. I mean, people can really mash after he connects things on him, and he can't like put the best pressure in shields, which really hurts him. Like this Mega Man Smash 4 would be a top tier, I think. But I think the way you play Ultimate, this character keeps falling off, and I think it'll end up staying around like a lower high tier character. And that's about it. I know Kame kind of stopped playing this character, and there's like the one exception to results. When I talk about like, you know, I don't think results are too indicative in Ultimate. I think when people drop a character, that means a lot. So I think the best Mega Man, basically playing the character much less and like basically dual mating with like Wario and playing other characters more and less Mega Man, is a indication of a huge problem. But still, an oppressive neutral, really good edge guarding, is like, you gotta keep the character relevant. Alright, Inkling. This is a character who a lot of people stopped playing. You know, everyone thought this character was top 5 best character in the game when Ultimate came out. And then we find out, no actually, back air is a top like 10 move in the game though. Having a dash that goes underneath everything is absurd. And then, otherwise this character is just good. You know, combos, nice, has decent kill setups, good ledge trapping, good recovery, but like, nothing really stands out as particularly amazing besides like the back air being such a broken move and the dashes. So as a result, this character has trouble mixing it up in neutral, which is bad compared to some other characters in this game, especially if you have, you know, a lot of high and top gears that can deal with a spammable back air, plus pairing helps a lot versus that. Like, it just gets a little bit harder for this character over time, and it's not surprised that a lot of people have dropped this character, and the results for the character never really hit where people expect them to hit with this character. Still good, for sure. It just, this character struggles a lot with projectile characters, like most of anything else. And Ultimate is shown to be a game where projectiles are really good at projectile characters, kind of run things. So that hurts Inkling as well. Alright, Lucina. And Marth. So Lucina is a character where you're probably thinking, how is she not top tier? But she's insane. But then a lot of high and top level players will kind of agree that Lucina is as good as we all initially thought. She's a very easy to play character. Easy to play characters are going to be better when a game like a Smash comes out than the other characters, because like you need to learn how to play other characters more. With a character like Lucina, you just swing, keep people out, abuse your range, your frame data, boom, easy wins. But then the problem is you can't like evolve much past that. No crazy setups, no death. It's just your character, unless they're like really busted, will probably fall off of it. And that's kind of what happened to Lucina. She's good at what she does. She's really good at what she does. Big hitboxes and good frame data is always nice, but she still has to work a lot. She has to work hard. She's an honest, working citizen in a game with dishonest cheaters everywhere. You know, her damage output, it's okay. She has some small combos that are nice, but nothing too crazy. She can like blow up with things like good forward smashes or like shield breaks. But outside, she doesn't have anything that's like super cheese. She has to work for her edge guards, which she should be counterplayed. Same with her ledge trapping, she has to work for. Same with her juggling. You know, she's always open, like vulnerable when she misses this stuff. And really, that's kind of the summary of her, is just she always has chances to be outplayed because she doesn't have anything that's super crazy like dishonest or free. Just really good hitboxes overall. Combine that with being a slower floaty character, having trouble a bit with projectiles and just generally fast characters. And she'll probably just stay as a solid like high tier in Ultimate, like lower high tier. She'll always be good. You'll always be a player if you're just better than your opponent and win. And that's a fine place for her. And then Marth's issue, obviously tippers, in a game like Ultimate with so much mashing, is hard to microspace in Ultimate. A character like Marth who relies on microspacing tippers just doesn't fit the game. It's the opposite of Smash 4 where you can microspace really well and abuse tippers to its fullest. I know that Marth has the same kind of issues as Lucina. I guess he's less honest as a result. But he still doesn't have anything that's like super crazy. He still has to outplay his opponent. Alright, Terry. Auto turnaround legit makes this character go from like a potential mid tier to a high tier. This auto turnaround basically negates a lot of play in Smash. A lot of cross-up pressure. You know, you can't roll past him. A lot like ambiguous setups don't work on him anymore because of that. Combined with jabs, just nullifies so much. I hate Terry, honestly. Adding go meter to like cheat out like stocks really easily to do absurd damage. Plus, just even without Go Meter, his damage output, his kill power, his combos, insane. And he ends up being a character that add in really good burst options with both his side Bs, absurd block pressure, like with basically guaranteed 50-50s that can do lots of damage or break your shield or whatever. And then you're like, alright, he's really good at what he does. So what doesn't he do well? He has to approach. His projectile isn't very good for camping, but gives him openness to approach anyway. So that's pretty nice. His disadvantage state is kind of poor, but the thing is, because of his side B movement, and even down B, he has enough mix-ups and disadvantage. They have to outplay him there, so he's never just off stage and gonna die. Not the first time. So that's really nice. Combine that with, the comeback meter of Go, like, he's a character where you feel like you have to kill him, make things happen, and if you don't, you think you're just gonna lose the game despite playing him. And that's really strong to have. Luckily, low range, no destroying, having to get in, leaves him open to just getting outspaced and camped. And losing the game without getting to re-interact with the opponent if they play it right. With that said, an extremely strong character. Next up, Diddy Kong. This is a character that I expect when offline is back to have crazy results. This is a character who you have to approach, because if you pulls out Banana, he's a top tier character with that in his hand. Most characters are. Because Banana is a safe on block pressure move that leads to combos and pressure. Adds to the fact that he's a small, fast character with safe grounded pressure. Technically, Dabuz is not safe, but it's hard enough to react to that it functions as safe. Greninja is the same thing, unless like you preempt it. So add that, which also gives the combos a good grab game, a command grab, which I keep mentioning is really good. But now it's also a bursty command grab that can also be a massive disjoint attack on a special as an item-based character. And some other crazy setups like Nair into down air for ledge trapping, and just Nair and with big combos. A recovery that kind of like Terry is vulnerable, but you have to like read him to punish him for it. And I expect this character to make crazy waves. It's like if you can't approach this character, you better be able to keep him out really well with like projectiles. And he struggles versus projectile characters like Omar, and characters with very good walls like Rosa. Two of my mains. It's cool. But a lot of characters don't really keep him out that well. And a lot of characters can't really approach into Banana, small, fast character, side B well. And it's absolutely insane just how good all this stuff is combined. And I expect especially Tweak and other Diddies like Dakpo to be doing really good on offline's back. Alright, Chrom. I'll actually talk about him when I talk about Roy. Greninja. So this character is everything you want on paper, right? Absolute monster of a character, mobility-wise, frame data-wise, combo-wise, everything. But then, despite all of that, why is this character only like middle of high tier? And that's because I think no matter what you talk about with this character, the issue is always this character is very linear. Like when I'm fighting Greninja, I know what they're gonna go for. They're gonna have to dash attack at certain spots. They're gonna have to like jump in with their slow aerials, which I can like react to and parry or just challenge. Their recovery only has so many mix-ups that I can like kind of just react a lot of times or call them out and kill them. Like their combo game, really good, but you kind of know what combos they're looking for based on the percent. And it's like, so despite all these crazy good things about them, they kind of have like a set game plan they have to work with. And when you're predictable and your character's kind of forcing you to be predictable, it makes it really hard to beat like people who are good at the matchup, who are really good at the game, and who are just like, and other good characters. So this character is phenomenal in terms of the numbers. This character's lack of meaningful mix-ups and a predictable neutral holds this character back more than anything else. I know Greninja players about to come in here and tell me, hey, I'm wrong, yada yada yada. And that's fine. I've thought about this one, and it's hard to like explain like exactly why it's predictable without going in depth to all the moves. And I'm going on this thing completely, a lot of people disagree and say, no, he's not predictable, which the players are. But I do feel like this character is, based also on the results, not as good as some people make him out to be. Also, a bad Outshot game hurts a lot in Ultimate, because you really want a good Outshot game in Ultimate. Alright. Cloud. This character got buffed and he's insane. Another character where you have to approach him, because if you just can charge Limit for free, it's just good luck. He still hit you with it, sure, but man, is Limit a hell of a drug. Combine that with some of the most oppressive normals in-game. Good frame data, although very reactable aerials. Still really safe if they're spaced right. Really good frame data. Lots of damage output. Good kill power. Has a lot of spammable buttons like up smash, dash attack for just all purpose. And it's adds to like the cheese power of limit or the recovery power of having limit. And you have a character that is really... it's like a sortie that breaks sortie archetypes because he's able to mash so much and he's so fast as well. Like, the main thing that keeps him back is that his aerials are slow enough you can react to him with good parries. So cloud players have to be good at mixing up like with falling side Bs, tomahawks, and just spacing outside of the range of punishing with parries. Have to be really good at avoiding an edge guard because that's like a huge weakness for him. For sure on ultimate. And even be careful when being juggled because his disadvantage state when he's landing. It's like he can mash out of it, but if he messes up and you read him, you can put him in even worse spots and kill him very easily. It's also a very simple character to play. Not as simple as 4, but simple enough. So that combined with the fact that he's a really solid character means he can be a really good pick up and play character to counterpick like a lot of the worst characters in the game that just can't quite deal with massive sword aerials on fast, powerful character. Next up, PT. This is a character that everyone picked up for a while and was like, oh, this character's top 10 broken. And then almost all those players end up dropping the character. Not because they were bad, but because a lot of people picking up PT want a top tier. And they just didn't find a top tier in Pokemon Trainer, I guess. So, the two things about PT is that, first of all, Squirtle is pretty much the carry of the team. Like, if your character is good with Squirtle, which you know a good amount of like the really good characters do, then that's gonna be really bad. You know, Ivysaur, some matchups he's good in, but a lot of matchups he's considered the worst Pokemon because his neutral is very linear and he's kind of missing key components of a character. And then Charizard by himself is not a great character. And so that's one issue. He's very Squirtle reliant and he's like a good character but not super amazing. And the second issue is despite all the different characters, they all share a common trait of not being the best in disadvantage. They all get juggled pretty easily. They all get ledge shot pretty easily and all get edge guard pretty easily. Just the extent of how much of each character. But so against matchups, against characters with like really good advantage states, it doesn't matter who you switch to, you're gonna struggle. And really, like, if you took any of these characters, like, I think by themselves, like, Ivysaur is like a lower mid-tier, Charizard's a low tier, and Squirtle's like an upper mid-tier. But it doesn't matter what like tier Charizard is when you're at kill percents off in disadvantage versus heavyweights. Or like it doesn't matter like how bad Ivysaur's neutral can be when you're being edge guarded and juggled by up air and down air. And it doesn't matter how light Squirtle is when he can just swap out to another character when he's feeling he can die. And then because he's a lightweight character, you start the combo. But then you're swapping out the other characters when they're also not combo percents. And that all like holds the character together. For sure. But it doesn't create this like crazy top tier character. It just creates a very well rounded high tier character. Alright. Fox. I know people could be like, wait, Fox is top tier, yada yada. And he kind of has a similar issue of like Greninja, where he's a bit too linear and neutral. I think he's a very simple character, right? You know, Nair is really good, he's very fast. Crazy pressure, combos, yada yada yada. Good damage output, up smash is busted. And this is like, he actually has almost everything we want at top tier. But I think his disadvantage is too exploitable with no real counter play for him to be a top tier. Like, that's all it really comes down to is you put him off stage, he's a super combo food character. You know, he's one of those characters that everyone labs combos on when like new DOC comes out, new buffs characters comes out, and it just kind of works on him. And that's unfortunate. And it's just because he's so bad at disadvantage, he's combo food. He gets edge guard for free by a lot of characters. And so combine that with the fact that, you know, he doesn't have like, he still has to work to a neutral. He doesn't have like a projectile that keeps you out. He doesn't have these massive hitboxes. He still has to take risks to get openings and put pressure on you, and every one of these risks comes with the potential to get blown up and put into these spots where he just dies. With that said, a lot of characters just can't keep up with his speed, his pressure. His combo game is very overwhelming, and you can go from 0 to like 100 without even realizing what happened, and then get like up smashed and just be like, well, that was my stock. And it's an absolute monster of a character in that regard. And I'm just surprised more people don't play him, but I think just the disadvantage state turns a lot of people off. about the fact that he can be a little bit simple and predictable as a character. Alright. Definitely biased a bit here because Rose is my main. Yeah, but I think... Okay, so with Luma, Rose is a top tier. I don't know if you want to argue this or not, but you have a character with really good mobility, really pretty good frame data, but massive hitboxes and absolute insane damage output, kill power, good setups for killing as well with lots of combos on spammable moves, and then amazing edge guarding and juggling and ledge trapping all in one. And then you might say, oh, with Luma, without Luma, she's not that great, and that's true. But because she's floaty with massive jumps and really good air excel and decent airspeed and crazy ground speed, and a really good burst punish with like dash attack, and generally still pretty nice hitboxes on all of her stuff without Luma, it's hard to just pressure and she loses Luma. So like the issue of Rose without Luma not being that great actually isn't that relevant when it's only like 8 seconds, which she can totally keep you away for 8 seconds if she like plays it well and even punish you. And ends up being a character I think kind of just has an absurd matchup spread. Like I look at most characters and I'm like, hey, unless your character can just kill Luma for free and neutral with like spammable projectiles I can't deal with, or if your character just has a massive sword that I can absolutely not handle, which is really just like Cloud and maybe Shulk. It's like she probably just wins the matchup in my probably biased opinion. So yeah, if her main weakness that she can't recompensate for is she has trouble at the ledge. Her recovery's good, her landing game's good, but the ledge being tall really hurts because she's not able to throw like any of these crazy ledge mix-ups. And just in general, being tall hurts her a lot because she has to deal with a lot of annoying things that other characters might have to deal with in terms of like spacing for neutral. But make no mistake, you know, I'm not just getting results with Rose offline for quarantine because hey, I'm broken, although I am pretty damn good at this game. But it's because she is a good character with 2 PGR reps and actually good results among the few representatives of her throughout the world. PacMan. This character is weird. You know, people might think this character is top tier, and that's understandable. I just don't see it. I think personally this character is one of those that once you know the matchup, he's good but not amazing. But if you don't know how to fight him, if you don't know your character's specific how to play the hydrant, assuming your character has it, which sure, weaker characters, slower characters don't have. Most good characters do. It's like, he can't just hide behind Hydra in those matchups. He has, you know, very small hitboxes, really good frame data in them. But he doesn't have the mobility and, like, openings to get in to abuse those, like, the frame data on small hitboxes. His damage output is generally iffy if you can't land Galaga, same with kill power if you can't land Bells. And, like, he's really good at keeping out. He plays a super degenerate game plan that a lot of characters just can't fight. It's just the characters that can, I think, are generally able to shut down his game plan well enough. And I think T is carried by being really good with PacMan. Because no other PacMan really has the same results. And I feel like the more I watch this, like, T play, the harder it's getting for him to just fight good people. Because the character is a bit overrated. And I know, it's not the best explanation on PacMan. But he's such a weird character that's hard to, like, talk about all the steps he has. Alright, Yoshi. Frame 1 double jump armor is a hell of an option to have. Let me tell you. Oh my god. A lot of strings on him just don't work. And then he's a heavyweight character with insane air mobility and decent ground mobility. But, like, having the air mobility he has with the frame data he has and just the raw damage output and kill power. Like, he can do like 0 to 60s, 0 to 70s, 80s off a lot of his moves. He holds advantage state very well because of his air speed, meaning he can just chase people. And then he has like up air to kind of create combos. He can edge guard you with like forward airs, nairs. Back air is a really annoying move. He has a command grab that's, well, it's not a great command grab. Having a command grab special is like always really good. And he's one of those characters that's like, sure, he's gonna get outclassed by like a good amount of characters that can just keep him out, like Palutena, Shulk, you know, just wall at him because he doesn't have best hitboxes and he kind of relies on jumping to approach. But a lot of characters can't quite deal well with how fast Yoshi is in the air. And really struggle with the fact that Yoshi's a hard to kill character that hits really hard with good frame data. So it's like a lot of characters quite can't deal with that pound for pound. And as a result, like if you're going even with him in neutral, you're probably losing the game. Also, eggs are a really good projectile to give him openings to jump in, which is a huge deal, because otherwise he'd have trouble approaching a lot more characters. Overall, character doesn't have the results you'd think, based on what I'm putting in, but I'm very confident he's really good, actually. Alright, Min Min. Obviously, we haven't got to see her offline yet, but I can tell you for a fact, this character's dumb. This character plays the game for herself, I'm not gonna lie. Like, just her arm attacks cover so much space so easily, and kind of invalidate a lot of characters. Especially in an environment where you can react to things really well. You can just like punish almost anything with arm attacks for lots of damage, because her damage output is bonkers. The kill power bonkers. Her ledge trapping as a result, offline, is not fair. When you can consistently react to get-ups, jumps, all that stuff, there's a lot of characters who would get put the ledge and just can't play the game anymore. Then you add an up smash to deal with like out of shield, people jumping above you, also a reflector that has really good kill power. Finally, she's a heavyweight character. She is combo food, but like heavyweight status helps her out a lot, especially because she can abuse rage. Having, you know, different arms is nice because she almost always has combos actually. Low percent megawatt, mid percent ram, high percent you can go for double dragon, ram megawatt depending on the matchup. You know, and just she can choose how she wants to cover space, how she wants to press your shield, how she wants to combo you. Very versatile, and like she plays her own game for sure. Very weird Smash character. I understand people don't think she would be that great, considering she doesn't feel like any other Smash characters. It's hard to gauge how strong that is. But I can tell you after seeing, you know, Japan kind of get run over by her lately, Isam and me both think she's really, really good overall. Very confident. The only thing holding her back from your top tier is her disadvantage being bad. So it's like you have to play it to hold mid stage. You have to play not to get help with big combos and edge guards, which is doable due to how good her neutral is, and having a lot of good buttons besides just like her forward airs and tilts. But yeah, sometimes you just get hit with her and die, and it's hard to re-counterplay that, and that's the only reason she is not a top tier. Kind of similar to Fox in that regard, right? Where it's like if she could counterplay her disadvantage a bit better, she'd be top tier. And finally, Roy. I almost put him top tier. In fact, he was top tier in my first draft of this tier list. And then I kind of dropped him down when I was like, I don't know. I think he's a little bit too... I don't want to say honest, because like having limit cross slash for a side B, except it's not a meter, is dishonest. But I think just other top tiers are like a step above him in terms of how like ridiculous they are in this game. So yeah, Roy. And the thing about him, you know, in your face he's a monster. But then because he has a sword with decent disjoint, you can't just swing keep out of your face. And he's fast, he can't just farm and throw projectiles. And then like his shield pressure makes it really hard to like do anything when he touches your shield with like a jab or a down tilt, especially down tilt. Add in having really good kill power and damage output on his combos and just his raw hits. Like forward tilt at 100 is scary. Back air at like any percent is scary. Jab the combos is scary. Down tilt tech chases is scary. Having good down throw combos is scary. All this on a fast character with good frame data attached to a sword once again is scary. And he ends up being like he's kind of the fast rushdown swordy that just works. No projectiles, no crazy like cheesy stuff, mechanics. Just all good buttons that are all very useful. Now, why is he so much farther up the tier list than Chrom? I think him and Chrom both really excel at close range to get like their big damage combos going. Like, you know, Nair confirms, jab confirms, down tilt tech chases. Getting potential mix-ups into grab, like aerial combos. So, when the character's kit is naturally built towards playing up close, the sweet spot mechanic on Roy is really nice, whereas Chrom, sure, having no sour spot is good, but you're never trying to play at the sour spot at the max range distance anyway with Chrom or Roy in most matchups, because you're not getting the most reward you can. Combine that with, you know, Chrom's up B is better for out of shield. I think you're not trying to be putting yourself in shield next to the opponent too much with this type of character, and I think both the recoveries aren't that great. But Roy's you can kind of work with to recover with due to like different angling and up B. And just the fact that you mix up B and air dodging generally. Whereas Chrom, a lot of times when you're off stage with him, you're just dead. There's no counterplay there. you're just gone a lot of times. That's really bad. That means you can throw common spots where you know he's just gonna die. And Roy doesn't have that same issue. So while Crom is also a good character, I think it just does the Roy game plan worse. And there's not many matchups, although there are some, where having consistent range on the consistent damage on the max range of your moves is more important than just being super broken damage wise and kill power wise up close. And yeah, that about wraps up my high tier videos. It took 30 minutes, 15 characters, 16 characters, whatever. Hard to go through, it's too fast. And guys, next video will be the last one with the top tiers, of course. Evergate Pitchforks ready because Pikachu's not going to be top 5.